Welcome to a deep dive, all about robots. You send in some really interesting articles on different types of robots, their history, how they're affecting us, and even the future of robotics.
It's really an exciting field, isn't it?
It is. It's always changing. So we're going to break it all down for you. We'll give you the key takeaways, from humanoid robots to the ones that are kind of behind the scenes doing all the hard work. But I want to hear from you, when you think about robots, what pops into your head? What do you picture?
I bet it's different for everyone. One of the articles you send in talks about Hanson Robotics, their robot, Sophia. It's really amazing. She's a humanoid robot, looks and acts like a human, really pushing the limits of what we even think of as a robot, right?
Yeah, she's like the robot celebrity, a real look into the future, I think. But there are also those robots, the ones that are hidden away, in factories and warehouses, just working away.
Right, like those robots Amazon uses.
Exactly. You sent in an article about that, about how Amazon uses robots in their fulfillment centers. It shows how robots are really changing how industries work. What really stood out to you from that article?
Well, what's really interesting is it's not about replacing people. It's about making things better for the workers, helping them be more efficient and safe. They can focus on the more difficult things and let the robots do the heavy lifting, the repetitive stuff.
Yeah, it's like they're partners. Humans and robots working together. And we can't forget about collaborative robots, those cobots. The ones that work right alongside humans.
Oh yeah, one of the articles talked about how they're used in the car industry, like help with welding and putting cars together.
Yeah.
It's incredible how they adapt to the humans they work with, moving with them, really collaborating.
Yeah, it's amazing how sensitive and responsive they are, not like those clunky old robots. Speaking of old robots, let's go back in time for a minute, look at the history of robots. You shared some really cool articles that trace how they evolved.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
It is. One even mentioned this ancient Greek invention called the Antikythera mechanism. I mean, it could actually predict stuff in the sky, astronomical events. A really early example of automation. I was blown away. I had no idea it went back that far.
It really shows how long humans have been fascinated with building machines to do things for us. And as you dig into the history of robotics, you'll see how that fascination has led to some amazing things over the centuries.
Yeah, and it's a long road from that Antikythera thing to the robots we have today. Your articles mention some big milestones like those autonomous robots by William Gray Walter in the 40s and George Devall's Unimit, the first robot arm for factories in 1961. But for me, the real game changer was Shaky in 1972, the first robot powered by, AI.
Oh yeah, Shaky was a big deal. It opened the door for robots that could actually, understand and react to the world around them. And that's where AI really starts to, change the game.
Yeah, it's like AI is the brain and robotics is the body. They're a perfect match. And speaking of AI, you sent an article about digital twins, which honestly sounds pretty futuristic to me. What exactly are they?
Well, imagine you have a robot, right? A digital twin is like a virtual copy of that robot. It lets engineers test out designs and stuff in a simulated world. So you can try different things, see how the robot performs without actually having to build it, which can be expensive and risky.
So it's like a virtual test lab for robots.
Right.
Using all that data and algorithms to see how they'll work in real life. That's amazing. And AI plays a big part in making those simulations, accurate and helpful.
Absolutely. It's all about those algorithms, analyzing tons of data from the real robot and feeding that into the, digital twin. So the simulation is really realistic. Engineers can spot problems, make the robot better, and even, predict when it might need maintenance.
That's incredible, especially for businesses where every second counts. But it's not just simulations, right? AI is also powering those autonomous robots, like those delivery drones you were reading about, navigating, dizzy streets, making decisions in real time, even learning from their experiences.
It's really impressive. One of the articles talked about how AI algorithms allow those drones to analyze things like weather patterns, traffic, even people walking around. So they can plan the best route, the safest, most efficient way to deliver packages.
I mean, it's wild to think about these machines making their own decisions, adapting to new situations. Makes you wonder, where is all of this going?
It's amazing to see where it's all heading. Now, let's see how these robots are actually being used, out in the real world.
Yeah.
You shared articles about different industries, and I'm really curious about the ones on healthcare.
Me too. Healthcare is always so fascinating. I mean, the possibilities seem endless.
Absolutely. One article you shared talked about intuitive surgical and their Da Vinci surgical system.
Yeah.
It's a perfect example of how robots are changing the game in medicine.
Oh yeah, Da Vinci, I remember reading about that. Surgeons can use it to do those minimally invasive surgeries, right? What's the big advantage of using robots for those types of, delicate procedures?
Well, think about it. The Da Vinci system lets surgeons operate with incredible precision, through tiny little incisions. That means less trauma for the patient, faster recovery, and fewer complications. It's a huge deal, especially for those complex surgeries like heart surgery or brain surgery.
It's incredible how technology is allowing us to do these life-saving procedures with, less impact on the body. And it's not just surgery, right? There was an article about robots and rehabilitation too.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's this company, Exobionics. They make exoskeletons, those robotic devices that can help people who have trouble moving. Imagine someone who's had a stroke or a spinal cord injury. With an exoskeleton, they can walk again. It's incredible technology that's giving people their independence back, improving their lives.
That's just amazing, the power of robots to help people regain those physical abilities. And there was even an article about robots providing emotional support. It's like a whole other level of care.
I know, right? That article talked about Pero. It's this therapeutic robot shaped like a baby harp seal. They use it in places like nursing homes and hospitals. Provides companionship and, helps reduce stress for patients, especially people with dementia.
It's really interesting how robots can address those emotional and social needs in healthcare, especially for people who might be isolated. Okay, let's switch gears. Another industry where robots are making a big impact, agriculture.
Oh yeah, there's a lot happening there.
Yeah, one of your articles mentioned robots being used for precision planting. What's that all about?
So these robots use GPS and sensors to plant seeds, at just the right depth and spacing.
Yep.
Make sure each seed has the best chance of growing. Really maximizes crop yield and cuts down on waste.
It's like having a super efficient farmhand who never gets tired.
Exactly. And that article also mentioned Blue River Technology. They've developed robots that can actually identify and target weeds, like with pinpoint accuracy.
Really? How do they do that?
They use computer vision and machine learning. So they can tell the difference between crops and weeds and only spray herbicide where it's needed.
Wow, that's incredible. That's great for sustainability, right?
Mm-hmm.
Less herbicide, protects the environment, saves farmers money. It's a win-win. And it's not just out in the fields, right? I think you also shared an article about robots being used in greenhouses.
Yep. One company, Iron Ox, they use robots in their greenhouses to do all the tasks.
Yeah.
Watering, fertilizing, even harvesting. The robots work around the clock to make sure the plants have the perfect conditions for growing. Consistent quality, year-round production.
It's like they've taken indoor farming to a whole new level. But robots aren't just staying here on Earth, are they? They're out exploring space too.
That's right. Space is a whole other frontier for robotics.
Your articles on space exploration were really fascinating, especially the one about the Mars rovers, Curiosity and Perseverance.
Those are amazing machines, our eyes and ears on Mars, sending back all those incredible pictures and data. They've been exploring for years now, analyzing soil samples, studying rocks, looking for signs of past life.
I mean, think about it. These robots roving around on another planet millions of miles away. It's just mind-blowing what humans can achieve with robotics.
And beyond just exploring, robots are also crucial for maintaining satellites, building structures in space, helping astronauts with those dangerous tasks outside the space station.
It's clear that robots are making a huge difference in so many areas. Healthcare, agriculture, space. Makes you wonder what's next. What other uses we'll see for robots in the future?
Oh, I think the possibilities are endless. As robotics keeps advancing, we can expect even more innovation and, impact in the years to come.
So we've seen how robots are used in all these different areas. Healthcare, agriculture, even space. It's like they're everywhere. But, what does it all mean for us? How is this robot revolution changing society?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And as robots become more and more a part of our lives, we need to think about those implications, the good and the maybe not so good. And of course, one of the big ones is jobs. What happens to jobs when robots can do so much?
Yeah, it's like the elephant in the room. Are robots going to steal all our jobs? I mean, some of your articles talked about this, and it seems like, there's no easy answer.
Right. One article from the World Economic Forum said, yes, some jobs will definitely be automated, but robots are going to create new jobs too. So it's not like, robots take over and everyone's out of work. It's more like the types of jobs people do will change.
Yeah. So it's not about being afraid of robots, it's about adapting, right? Learning new skills. One article talked about how important it is to have those retraining programs and, education to help people keep up with the changes.
Definitely. We need to focus on those skills that robots can't really do, Things like critical thinking, solving complex problems, being creative. That's where humans will always have the advantage.
Right. It's like robots can free us up to do what we're best at, those things that require, human thinking and intuition. You sent an article about the gig economy too, those platforms like Uber and TaskRabbit. It seems like the way we work is already changing. Do you see a connection there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as automation changes those traditional jobs, those flexible task-based jobs, they're becoming more common. And we need to make sure that people have the support they need, the resources, to navigate this new world of work.
It's about being adaptable, both individually and as a society. And, as robots get smarter, more independent, it's really important to design them in a way that's safe for us. They need to interact with humans effectively.
Absolutely. One of your sources talked about, human-robot interaction design. It's about making robots that are easy to use, understand how humans communicate, can work alongside us without any problems.
Right. It's not just about, can they do the job? It's about making those interactions feel natural, comfortable. I remember that article also mentioned robot etiquette. Did you find that interesting?
Oh, yeah, it was fascinating. I mean, as robots become more common, we're going to need some rules, some norms for how we interact with them. We got to make sure those interactions are, respectful and beneficial for both sides, humans and robots. It's almost like we're creating a whole new set of social rules.
It's definitely uncharted territory. But it's exciting to think about, right? We've talked about so much in this deep dive, the different types of robots, how they're used, what it means for society. So what are some key things you want our listener to take away from all of this?
Well, first of all, robotics isn't science fiction anymore. It's here, it's happening, and it's changing the world.
Yeah.
And second, there are things to be concerned about, like jobs and, ethics. But robots also have this incredible potential to make our lives better.
It's all about how we use them. Technology is a tool, and it's up to us to use it responsibly. We got to be aware of the challenges, but also embrace those opportunities.
Exactly. The future of robotics, it's not set in stone. It's something we're creating right now.
Yeah.
The more we understand about robots, the better prepared we'll be for whatever comes next.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I think our listener has a much better grasp on the world of robotics now, all thanks to this deep dive. Thanks for joining us on this journey of discovery.